because it has that association. So just to use that as an example, it does open people up to themselves, and often that can be repressed memories. And once you go beyond that level of repressed memories, you begin to open up to kind of a broader range of information, and you can just perceive a lot more and write it down before your conscious mind tries to take control again and shut it off. So it's a gradual, like an aperture opening up. I've never seen it just go, well, I have seen a couple cases where people really flipped into a different state, even started channeling as a result of RV, but that's pretty rare. Pretty rare. It hasn't happened very often.
I also thought it was interesting that in remote viewing, you can actually access things at a distance, and you can see, if you have to see, in targets that are underwater, it doesn't matter. It's not limited to the electromagnetic spectrum. You can go into subspace, which I think is fascinating, and you can go outside of what's happening on the Earth. It's so vast what it can do. Why do people want to learn RV? What do you think is motivating people to come learn at your institute and other institutes? And how does it enhance the lives of people who are learning?
Well, Kim, I can tell you the interest in this is growing daily. The best, easiest measure for me is my own YouTube videos. When I first put them up, there were maybe 10, 20, 30 views a day. Now it's up to 1,000 people a day are looking at those remote viewing videos. And that just shows me that there's increased interest in this. People are getting very curious. I suspect what it is that people just know they have these abilities, and we're reaching a time on the planet where we're encountering a lot of scarcity at the physical, economic level.
Yes.
I think it makes people naturally want to know, what else is there that I can trust? What else is there that I can rely on? As the external world becomes increasingly chaotic, so to speak, disorderly, almost hard to make sense of what it's doing, not easy to define. The natural thing for us to do is, well, what else is there that I can trust and believe in and that I know is there? And what it is it's yourself. It's aspects of yourself that you didn't know you have. It just seems to me almost like a natural response to if there was a watering hole and all the animals on the savannah were going to this water hole and it started to dry up. What would they do? They would eventually start looking for another watering hole. And what we're doing now is shifting to a higher dimensional watering hole. Because
that's a great example. That's a great example. Keep going. That is like excellent.
It feels like that to me. I can see the interest in this growing daily. It's amazing. And it's not because I'm promoting it more or anyone else I know in the RV community. We're all just doing everything because we like it. We enjoy working with very small groups of people, even one at a time. It's fun just to work with one person. You don't need a lot of people to make this work. But there's increased interest, a lot of demand, because people are saying, well, the existing system isn't feeding me so well anymore. I can't trust my government necessarily. I can't trust the banks that seem to be like such good friends for all those years, right? I can't trust these organizations. I can't trust, who knows, the people that run the oil wells out in the Gulf. Well, what else is there that's solid that I can believe in? And so people are naturally curious in these other processes which have been around for thousands of years, but we haven't really needed to explore because we're being well-fed by, in a lot of ways, well-fed by the existing system. And as the existing system seems to really be tottering, this 3D version of the world, the mechanistic paradigm, people just are curious, what else is there? So when they see other things that have a lot of scientific evidence backing them up, have a history, and something that's trainable and learnable, I think they just naturally want to take a look and see, well, what else could I be doing with my own life and myself, and what else other abilities do I have that maybe I never even knew I had?
How long are your classes, by the way?
We're doing this online now. I just started this a couple months ago. It's called Virtual Viewing.
Wow.
Virtualviewing.info is my new site to teach people online, because I'll tell you, Kim, people wanted to, how can I learn to do this? And I realized, you know what? I can't make them all come to Boulder, Colorado from all over the world. I need to come to them.
That's great.
So after years of resisting this, because I thought you couldn't do it online because you needed someone there, I created a series of like 40 videos about how to do this. It just took me 6 months to complete. I'm still working on it, but it's just about finished. And people have been signing up. Had a few people go through just to see how it works and so forth, and they've really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure. Yeah, it was like a test run. They said, I really enjoy this. They like it, and We do stuff online sometimes. And so it's at virtualviewing.info. And that is the page where you can sign up, or virtualviewing.org is a kind of description of it. And basically, it allows people, we still do the 3-day classes here in Boulder.
How much do they cost right now? I'm just curious. 3-day classes in Boulder when people are physically there.
We do that. It's at $9.95.
Okay.
But it's much more cost effective for people to do it at home. I have the basic class. I'm not trying to sell this here, but just
no, I understand.
You asked. I have a basic class for $3.97 online, and it all comes with a 30-day guarantee. I mean, honestly, if people take this, I'm totally serious, and it's not life-changing for them. I don't want their money. I only want it if they said this is worth every penny. So I have the basic class, and people can do it at home. And you know what they tell me? They like it. I mean, this is a kind of discovery for me. We've been talking about time and all this.
Sure.
People like things that they can break up into bits of time. When they have 20 minutes or half an hour, they can do one of the sessions, the viewing practice sessions that I put online for them.
Is this kind of a new paradigm in the way that it's taught? I know that there are some practitioners that, deliver their trainings on DVDs and all that, and you're delivering it virtually through the internet as well and in person. But I think it's interesting.
It's online, and we do it over Skype. I have a mentoring program, too, that is a bit more expensive, where we do sessions online over Skype, so I can see what they're drawing, give them feedback immediately, and so forth, like we're talking now.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, Kim, I had to do this because technology had changed. I like classes like we all do, where we get together in a seminar for 3 days.
Yes.
Well, it's very complicated nowadays. You have to go through airplanes. You have to go through security. It's gotten much more complicated.
You have to be radiated at the airports.
Yes, I had that happen to me a couple of weeks ago. I had to go through, there was a mistake in the system, and every third single mail was getting irradiated. The guys apologized. They said it was a mistake in the airline's queuing system. But yeah, it's very annoying, right? It's time consuming. And people don't have 3 days anymore where they can just spend as easily as they used to, maybe. So I did this thing online, and people can communicate by phone. We do it Skype, email, and we create a virtual class. And then so sometimes I do a thing over Ustream.
Yes.
.tv.
Yes.
And I can broadcast to them, or we can have a conference call so we can retain that group feeling. But it's very interesting because people work at different levels. But maybe that's the way it should be. They don't have the advantage of seeing other people in the group immediately, the results other people are getting, which is a very powerful thing.
Yes.
So I need to find a way to work on that. But it does give people that are disciplined enough to do this, hey, they got a few minutes, let's do a viewing session. I put a new one up every week, a new target for people to practice, right? And so they try it on their own time. They write back to me what they got. And even for people that say, I can't afford it, I have a lot of them for free on YouTube anyway, because people need to learn even if they don't have the ability to pay for it right now. So.
And the last question I want to ask you, of the many million I will have, so that we don't take the public into a too long-winded show, but it's certainly fascinating. And that is, I'd like to know your take on free will. Now, let me preface this question. If, in fact, it has been proven through remote viewing / remote sensing that time is not what we think, that the present, the past, and the future are all happening now, but in different dimensions, it invokes the question in me, do we really have the free will we think we do, or are we born with this free will ability in the moment, every moment, but in fact, it's not really free will, it's the illusion of free will?
Well, without copying out on your question, it's a bit of both.
Okay.
It's a very good question.
Thank you.
Because Keep
me around.
Yeah, I will. You're asking the right questions.
Yeah. Been on a mission 25 years. One thing I do is I ask the questions.
You do, don't you?
You have a tiger by the tail. Quick, run.
Yeah, that's right. We don't know who's making the decisions anymore. We were talking earlier about the role of the subconscious.
Yes.
There is something called the Libet response. Benjamin Libet discovered this 10 or 20 years ago. Before you actually make a decision and you're aware that you've made a decision, there's a pulse in your brain. Originally, they thought it was just like 100 milliseconds before. Now it's up to even a half a second or a full second before you think you are doing something. There's a reaction in your brain. What
Right.